Hi, Santiago from Upsafe here. In this video, we will learn how to set up item actions and even how to create one from scratch. First, let's go to Tools, Upsafe, Ultimate Inventory System, Main Manager. We'll go to UI Designer, Inventory Grids, and we'll create an inventory grid under our canvas. If we scroll down, we will see that we have common options for item view slot containers. This contains inventory grids, equipment, and hotbar, which can all have item actions. Here, if we try to add an item action binding, we have two choices: either an item view slots container category item action set, or a simple item view slot container item action binding. The first one will allow us to have different item actions depending on the category of the item. The second one will have item actions which will be the same for all items. Let's select the first one. This created a new component. We can select here the item action binding. Here we can choose the item user, which by default will use the item user bind that is binded to the inventory of the inventory grid. If we check our character, we will see that we have an item user component. This will be the one that is used. We have an action panel field, which will allow us to see all the options that we can click from. If we do not assign one here, we can actually choose the item action by index, such that when we click the item, it makes the item action, or it executes the item action directly. We can choose to execute the item action on click or through code. We can disable item actions for empty slots, and we can choose the array size for our item actions. Here we have our category item action set that we can choose or create. Let's create a new one. Let's go to Tutorial, Tutorial 6. Let's call it Tutorial 6. Tutorial 6. Here we created our new item set. We can add new item action sets inside our category item action set. Let's create a new one. Call it Tuto 6. There you go. We can choose the item category, such that all the items that have this category will be able to use this item action. For example, let's choose normal item, such that all our items will be able to use this action, and we'll choose a debug item action. We can also choose a drop quantity item action. All the item actions have their serializable fields here, and we have, for example, a quantity panel prefab for our quantity drop, so we must select a prefab for that, and a pickup item prefab. We can choose to remove items that are undropped. There you go. Now all our items should be able to use these item actions. We can create another element in the list. Create this one specific for weapons. There you go. We'll add our weapon category here. Choose our item action to be equip or move to collection item action. Here we choose our name to be equip, and we'll move the item from the main item collection to the equipped item collection. If we go on our character, we can see that we have our main item collection here and our equipped item collections here. So now, if we go press play, we will see that our inventory grid has a item action index to -1 and does not have any action panel. So if we open with our debugging tools and click, you'll see that all our item actions have been used at the same time. If we go here and say 0, then the first item action will be used, which will be debug. Instead of using the index, we can let the player choose the actions by adding an action panel. To do this, we can go to Tools, Obsiv, UI Designer. Under UI Designer, we can find our item actions here. We can click on it, and we'll see that we have a Create Item Action panel. Just like that, we added this action panel, and it's been added here in this field. If we want, we can even make the item action panel into a tooltip. If not, it will just spawn in the middle here. Now, let's save. Press play. Use the debugging tools to open the window. And when we click, as you can see, we have our options here. To equip, unequip, drop, and debug. Now let's see if we can add our custom item action. To do this, let's create a new script. I already created one called custom item action. You can create public class custom item action, and all you need to do is inherit from the item action class. You will get an error. All you have to do is let your IDE do the work to autocomplete by implementing the missing members. This will add those two functions. One to know if you are allowed to use this item action, and one to execute this item action. You have two parameters, the item info and the item user. I already wrote the class, so let's delete all this. Here you go. You need to make sure that your class is serializable, otherwise all the fields won't appear in the inspector. Here we have an attribute name, which is called heal amount, which we'll use from our consumable items. We will search for this component, example health. If it does not exist, we're not allowed to use this item action. And if it does exist, then we'll be able to use the item action, and we'll use the heal amount to get an integer attribute and use that to heal our component. Finally, we will remove the item by 1. This is a shortcut to say 1 of this item info, as the item info could have multiple amounts of the item. The heal component simply heals this value here, current health, by the amount that we chose. Let's go back to our item action. And we can see here that I forgot to add a condition. This condition is to make sure that our item has the attribute that we want. Let's copy this. if the attribute equals null, which means if the attribute does not exist on this item, then we want to return false. Otherwise, we will get an error. Let's save. Go back to Unity. Let it compile. We can go to our item inventory grid, find our item action binding with our category item action set, and we'll add a new item action set. Call it consumable. We'll add it to our tutorial file. There you go. Make sure that we select our consumable items. And now you will see that our custom type is appearing here automatically. This is because we are inheriting the item action class. We'll call it heal. And we have our attribute name, heal amount. If we click here on our consumable action or consumable item category, we'll see that in our item definition attributes, we have a heal amount, which will be used in this item action. Let's close, save, play, open the panel, click on our consumable item, and as you can see, the heal is grayed out and we cannot click on it. This means that one of our conditions in us is not passing. We have our condition, for example, health, which must exist, and the attribute must exist and must be an integer. If we check on our character, we can see that the example script does not exist. Let's add it, make it 100, start with 20 health, save, and let's try again. Inventory, open the panel, go to our character with 20 health. We can now use the heal item action, and you can see it grow by 6, which is exactly what we have for our potion. We can double check this by going here, main manager, item definition, find our potion, heal amount by 6. There you go. Now you know how to use and create your own item actions from scratch. I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.